Listen to me. Nobody is going to hand you the life you dream of. Nobody is going to show up at your door with success, with greatness, with opportunity wrapped in a golden box. If you want it, you have to create it. You have to make your own future. The future is not written in the stars, it is written in your actions. Every rep in the gym, every late night of study, every risk you take, every failure you learn from. These are the bricks you use to build the life you want. Stop waiting for luck. Stop waiting for someone to save you. You are the only one who can build it. Too many people waste their lives blaming circumstances, blaming their family, blaming the system, blaming the economy. But when you point your finger at the world, remember, three fingers are pointing back at you. You can complain, or you can take control. You can say, this is unfair, or you can say, I will find a way. That choice is yours. Making your future is about vision. If you don't know where you're going, you will never arrive. Close your eyes and see the person you want to be 10 years from now. Stronger, smarter, wealthier, more respected. Then ask yourself, what must I do today, tomorrow, and the next day to become that person? That vision becomes your compass, and when the obstacles come, and they will, you push through. When people laugh at you, and they will, you keep going. When you fail, and you will, you get back up. Because the future doesn't belong to the quitters, it belongs to the fighters. So remember, make your own future. Don't wait for it, don't wish for it, don't dream about it without action. Build it with your hands, with your mind, with your heart. Step by step, day by day, rep by rep. That's how you take control. That's how you rise. That's how you make your future. Stop waiting. Start creating means you have to understand that life does not pause for you. And opportunities will not magically appear in your lap just because you want them to. Too many people waste their precious years sitting in the waiting room of life, hoping for the right time, the right connection, the right break. They tell themselves stories like, once I graduate, then I'll start. Once I get the money, then I'll start. Once I feel ready, then I'll start. But that mindset is poison because the truth is, you will never feel fully ready, and the so-called perfect time does not exist. The only time you have is right now, and the only way to move forward is to create your own momentum. Waiting is just another form of fear disguised as patience. You wait because you're afraid to fail, because you're afraid people will laugh at you, because you're afraid of not being good enough. But what you don't realize is that by waiting, you're already failing. By sitting on the sidelines, you're already giving away the chance to grow, to learn, to build, to win. The clock keeps ticking whether you act or not, and every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. When you decide to start creating, you take control of your life in a way most people never do. Creation is power, because when you create, you shape your own path instead of letting circumstances shape it for you. Think about a sculptor with a block of marble. If he waits for the marble to turn into a statue by itself, he'll die before anything happens. But if he picks up the tools and starts chiseling, slowly, piece by piece, he turns that rough block into art. That is what your life is, a block of raw marble. If you want it to become something extraordinary, you must carve it with your own hands, with sweat, with discipline, with persistence. Every action you take is a cut of the chisel. Every failure you overcome is a refinement of the shape. Every victory is a detail added to the masterpiece. Stop waiting also means stop giving away your power to excuses. Excuses are comfortable, they protect your ego, but they destroy your future. People say, I can't because I don't have enough money. I can't because I don't have enough time. I can't because I wasn't born in the right family. I can't because I didn't get lucky. But history is full of people who started with nothing, who had no advantages, who had every reason to quit, and yet they created greatness because they refused to wait. They didn't sit around hoping. They didn't waste their time pointing fingers. They didn't complain. They acted. That's the difference between the average and the extraordinary. One waits, the other creates. When you start creating, you also start learning who you really are. You can't discover your strength, your talent, your resilience by sitting still. You only discover it by stepping into the arena and facing challenges head on. Creation forces you to grow, because it puts you in situations where you must adapt, where you must push past fear, where you must test yourself against reality. You don't become confident by waiting until you feel confident. You become confident by acting in spite of fear. You don't become skilled by waiting until you're perfect. You become skilled by creating, failing, improving, and repeating. Creation also builds momentum. One small action leads to another, and soon you're in motion, unstoppable. Think about a snowball rolling down a hill. If it just sits there at the top, nothing happens. But once it moves, it grows bigger and faster. Your life is the same. The first step might feel small, almost insignificant, but it's the spark that ignites everything else. You write one page, tomorrow you write two, eventually you have a book. You lift weights today, tomorrow you lift heavier, eventually you build the body you dreamed of. You save a little money, you invest it, eventually you build wealth. But none of it happens if you're stuck waiting at the top of the hill. You have to give yourself the push. Another trap of waiting is the fantasy of perfection. People imagine the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity. But perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait for everything to be flawless, you'll never begin. The truth is, your first steps will be messy. Your early attempts will be clumsy. Your first projects may fail. And that's exactly how it should be, because imperfection is how you learn. Every expert was once a beginner who stumbled. Every champion was once a novice who fell. The only difference is they didn't wait until they were perfect to start. They started, and because they started, they became great. Stop waiting, start creating also means taking ownership of your vision. If you don't decide what kind of future you want, someone else will decide it for you. If you don't create your own path, you'll end up walking down the path others have built, and it might not lead where you want to go. Life will push you into a box if you let it. Society will tell you what you should do. Your friends and family will tell you what's safe. The world will pressure you to follow the herd. But creation is rebellion against that. It is saying, I will not just follow, I will lead. I will not just conform, I will build. I will not just exist, I will create. When you start creating, you give yourself the gift of freedom. You are no longer chained to the limitations that others place on you. You are no longer dependent on someone choosing you. You choose yourself. That's the ultimate power. You don't wait for someone to give you permission. You don't wait for someone to open the door. You build your own door and you walk through it. You realize that the future is not something you stumble into. It is something you forge with your actions, with your sweat, with your refusal to stop moving. And maybe the most important truth is this: creating is not about where you start. It is about where you're willing to go. It doesn't matter if you begin at the bottom. It doesn't matter if you're unknown. It doesn't matter if you have nothing. What matters is that you stop waiting and you start creating with what you have, where you are right now. Because the person who acts with limited resources will always surpass the person who waits for unlimited resources. Creation multiplies. Once you take one step, opportunities open, doors appear, resources grow, and people notice. But none of it comes until you make the first move. Take responsibility. No excuses means that you stop giving away the power over your own life. Most people live in denial about this simple truth. Everything you are, everything you have, and everything you don't have is a reflection of your own decisions, your own actions, or your own inaction. The moment you start blaming others, the moment you point your finger at circumstances, you lose control. You hand over your future to outside forces that you can never control. Responsibility is freedom, because when you say, I am the reason for my life, you also say, I am the solution for my life. You cannot change the past, but you can own it. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can decide what today will look like. Excuses keep you weak. Responsibility makes you strong. Excuses are seductive because they protect your ego. They allow you to say it's not my fault. It's because of them. It's because of luck. It's because of where I was born. It's because nobody helped me. And maybe some of those things are true. Maybe the world is unfair. Maybe you did get a tougher hand than others, but excuses do not fix anything. They do not put money in your pocket. They do not build muscle on your body. They do not sharpen your mind. All they do is keep you stuck. Excuses are chains disguised as comfort. They feel good in the moment, but they hold you in place while time passes you by. Responsibility is the only key that unlocks those chains. Taking responsibility means you stand in front of the mirror and admit the truth, even when it hurts. You admit that if you are broke, it's because of your financial choices. If you are out of shape, it's because of your habits. If your relationships are toxic, it's because of what you tolerate or how you act. If you are not where you want to be, it's because you have not done what it takes. That kind of brutal honesty is rare, and that's why most people never change. But when you face it, when you say, "I did this," then you can also say, "I can fix this." You take back the driver's seat of your life instead of sitting in the back waiting for someone else to drive. No excuses means you show up even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is born in those moments when you want to quit, when your body says no, when your mind says later, but you still do it. Excuses give you an escape route, but responsibility forces you to face the fire. Think about training your body. Excuses say, "I'm tired, I worked all day, I'll start tomorrow." Responsibility says, "I committed to myself, I keep the promise, I get it done no matter what." Over time, those choices stack up. Excuses build weakness. Responsibility builds strength. Excuses take you further away from your goals. Responsibility pulls you closer with every step. When you take responsibility, you also stop expecting other people to save you. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody is going to hand you the dream life. And the people who succeed are not the ones who got the most help. They are the ones who built their own ladder when there was no help. Waiting for someone else is another excuse in disguise. You say, "I can't do it because nobody believes in me," but you don't need belief from anyone else. You need belief from yourself. You say, "I can't do it because nobody showed me the way," but the truth is the path is made by walking, not waiting. Responsibility also sharpens your focus. When you say everything is on me, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop blaming, you stop gossiping, you stop comparing, and you start asking, "What can I do right now to move forward?" Every minute becomes a choice. Do I make an excuse or do I make progress? When you live this way, you become unstoppable because nothing outside of you can take away your power. People can doubt you, conditions can be tough, failures can hit you hard, but as long as you keep saying, "I am responsible," you always have the ability to rise again. The truth is, most people will choose excuses because they are easy. Responsibility is hard. It forces you to confront yourself, and that is uncomfortable. But greatness lives in discomfort. The people who achieve, the ones who rise to the top, they are the ones who embrace the discomfort of saying, "This is on me." They don't look for shortcuts, they don't search for pity, they don't waste time blaming. They own their journey, they own their failures, and because of that, they own their success. Taking responsibility also transforms failure into a teacher. When you blame others, failure becomes a dead end. You say, "I failed because of them, so I can't move forward until they change." But when you own the failure, it becomes a lesson. You say, "I failed because I didn't prepare. I failed because I didn't push hard enough. I failed because I made the wrong move." And with that lesson, you grow stronger. Responsibility turns failure into fuel. Excuses turn failure into paralysis. That's why so many people repeat the same mistakes year after year, because they refuse to admit their role in the outcome. Responsibility breaks that cycle. No excuses also means no victim mindset. Life will hit you, life will throw obstacles in your path, and sometimes you truly didn't deserve it. But you can either live as a victim, complaining and replaying the unfairness, or you can live as a warrior, facing reality and saying, "I will rise anyway." Victims are powerless, warriors are powerful. Victims wait, warriors act. Victims make excuses, warriors take responsibility. Which one you become is a choice you make every day. Responsibility is not about guilt, it's about power. When you say, "I am responsible," you are not beating yourself up, you are empowering yourself. You are saying, "I have the ability to change, I have the ability to act, I have the ability to create the future I want." Excuses rob you of that ability. They feel safe, but they leave you stuck in the same place, year after year. Responsibility feels heavy at first, but it builds the muscle that carries you to success. Taking responsibility, no excuses, is the mindset that separates the dreamers from the doers. Dreamers imagine, complain, and wait. Doers take action, own the results, and adjust until they win. Every time you catch yourself about to make an excuse, stop and replace it with responsibility. Say, I didn't have time, but I will make time. Say, I didn't know, but I will learn. Say, I wasn't ready, but I will prepare. That shift is everything. It's the difference between a life of regret and a life of achievement. Build a clear vision means you must have a target so sharp and so defined that you can see it even when your eyes are closed. Without vision, you are lost, wandering in circles, drifting wherever life pushes you. Vision is the map that guides you through the storms, the fuel that powers you when you are exhausted, the reason you get back up when life knocks you down. If you don't know what you want, how will you ever know if you're moving in the right direction? Most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack vision. They live day to day without purpose, chasing distractions, letting their lives be controlled by circumstances. You must decide what your life will look like, and you must build that picture so vividly that it burns into your mind. A clear vision begins with asking yourself deep questions. Who do you want to be in 10 years? What do you want your body to look like? What do you want your career to be? What kind of relationships do you want around you? What do you want to be remembered for? These questions matter, because without answers, you are just reacting to whatever comes your way. When you answer them honestly, you create direction. Once you know your direction, every choice has meaning, every sacrifice has purpose. With vision, even pain becomes fuel because you know why you are enduring it. Without vision, even comfort feels empty because you are drifting without aim. Building a clear vision also requires detail. Vague goals create vague results. Saying, I want to be successful, is not enough. Success must be defined in your own terms. Do you want to build a business? Do you want to become a leader? Do you want to master your craft? Do you want financial freedom? Success to you must be so clear that you can describe it in detail, see it in your mind, and feel it in your gut. Saying, I want to be in shape is not enough. You must know what that looks like. Do you want a strong, muscular body? Do you want endurance like an athlete? Do you want to drop a certain amount of weight? The clearer the vision, the stronger the focus. Vision is not fantasy. It is not daydreaming about what you wish life could be if everything was perfect. Vision is a decision backed by action. A person with vision says, this is what I want, and then aligns their daily habits with that picture. A person without vision dreams of better days, but keeps living the same way. Vision demands discipline. You cannot say you want to be great and live like everyone else. You cannot say you want to reach the top and spend your days wasting time. Vision forces you to prioritize. It forces you to cut out distractions, to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term gain. When you build a clear vision, it also acts like armor. Life will test you with setbacks, with failures, with criticism. People will doubt you, laugh at you, even try to pull you down. But if your vision is clear, none of that breaks you. You keep moving forward because you are not living for their approval. You are living for your vision. Without vision, criticism crushes you. With vision, criticism fuels you. Without vision, failure defeats you. With vision, failure teaches you. Without vision, setbacks stop you. With vision, setbacks strengthen you. The power of vision is that it makes you unstoppable because your mind is locked on the destination. Building a clear vision also requires honesty with yourself. You cannot copy someone else's dream and expect it to light a fire in you. Vision must come from within. Maybe your parents want you to be something. Maybe society pressures you to follow a certain path. Maybe your friends push you in a direction. But unless it is truly yours, you will never have the hunger to fight for it. You have to shut out the noise, listen to your own voice, and build a vision that excites you, scares you, and makes you want to jump out of bed every morning. That inner fire only burns when the vision is authentic. Clarity of vision also transforms how you see time. When you know what you want, you stop wasting hours and days on meaningless activities. Every moment becomes an opportunity to build. People who lack vision waste years scrolling, drifting, procrastinating, because they don't even know what they're losing. But with vision, every hour matters. You realize that each day is either bringing you closer to the picture in your mind or pulling you further away. You start guarding your time like treasure because you know time is the only currency you cannot earn back. Another power of vision is that it attracts the right people. When you live with clarity, others can see it. They feel your energy, they notice your drive, and they want to be part of it. Opportunities open because you radiate purpose. Mentors appear because they see you are serious. Teammates join because they know you're going somewhere. But none of that happens when you are vague. Nobody is inspired by someone who says, "I don't know what I want." People are drawn to certainty, and clarity is contagious. When your vision is strong, you lift others with you. Vision also guides your decisions when life presents options. Without it, you say yes to everything. You get pulled in different directions, and you waste energy on paths that lead nowhere. With vision, you say no to distractions. You stay aligned. You invest your energy where it matters. You become laser-focused. Every decision becomes simple. Does this take me closer to my vision or not? If yes, I do it. If no, I leave it. That kind of focus builds momentum faster than anything else. Building a clear vision takes work. It takes time alone to reflect, to think, to imagine, to write, to refine. It takes courage to admit what you truly want, because sometimes it feels too big, sometimes it feels impossible, sometimes it feels selfish. But the truth is, if the vision doesn't scare you, it's not strong enough. A powerful vision should feel like a mountain you're not sure you can climb, but that's exactly what pulls greatness out of you. Easy visions create mediocre lives. Bold visions create extraordinary ones. The final piece of building a clear vision is reminding yourself of it every single day. Vision fades if you don't keep it in front of you. You must visualize it every morning, write it down, speak it out loud, feel it as if it already exists. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes, and the stronger it becomes, the more it pulls you into action. Vision is not just a dream you visit once in a while. It must become a daily part of who you are. It must live in your thoughts, your words, your choices, your habits. When vision lives in you like that, it becomes reality. Push through obstacles means that no matter how many walls you hit, no matter how heavy the weight feels, no matter how impossible the situation seems, you refuse to stop. Obstacles are not signals to quit. They are tests to prove how much you want it. Every person who ever achieved greatness faced roadblocks, failures, and setbacks. But the difference between those who rise and those who fall is the decision to push forward when most people would give up. Life will never hand you a smooth path because a smooth path builds weakness. Obstacles are the gym of life. They are there to train you, to strengthen you, to harden your mind. When you push through them, you build the muscle of resilience, the toughness that no comfort zone will ever give you. The first thing you must understand about obstacles is that they are inevitable. People waste so much energy being shocked when things go wrong, when plans collapse, when progress slows down. They act as if life betrayed them. But expecting a life without obstacles is like expecting to build muscle without lifting weights. The resistance is what makes you grow. Once you accept that obstacles are part of the journey, you stop being surprised by them and you start using them. You see each one as an opportunity to prove your commitment, as a chance to separate yourself from the weak who quit at the first sign of difficulty. Pushing through obstacles requires a mindset shift. Most people see an obstacle and think of it as a wall, something that blocks them. But in reality, obstacles are doors disguised as walls. On the other side of that obstacle is growth, progress, and achievement. The only way to unlock that door is to keep moving, to keep pushing, to keep testing until you find the breakthrough. Sometimes the obstacle is physical, like lack of resources, lack of money, lack of connections. Sometimes it's mental, like self-doubt, fear, or laziness. Sometimes it's external, like people criticizing you, life throwing unexpected setbacks, or opportunities falling through. It doesn't matter what form it takes. The solution is the same: push through. When you push through, You train your mind to see struggle as normal. This is powerful because most people crumble under pressure simply because they believe pressure shouldn't exist. They believe success should be easier. But when your mindset is prepared, you expect it to be hard. You expect the pain. You expect the delays, and you keep going anyway. That is what separates a champion from the average. A champion says this is tough, but I am tougher. This is heavy, but I will get stronger. This is painful, but pain is temporary and pride is forever. That mindset carries you through storms that break everyone else. Pushing through obstacles also teaches you creativity. Sometimes you cannot go through the obstacle head on, but you can go around it, over it, or under it. When resources are limited, you learn to use what you have. When time is short, you learn to prioritize. When people doubt you, you learn to fuel yourself with self-belief. Every obstacle forces you to grow smarter, more resourceful, more adaptable. Without obstacles, you remain the same. With obstacles, you evolve. The very thing that feels like it's holding you back is the thing that is building your strength and shaping your future. It is important to remember that obstacles are not personal attacks. They don't appear because the universe is against you. They appear because you are on the path of growth. If your life is free of obstacles, it means you're not aiming high enough, you're not stretching yourself, you're not pursuing anything worth fighting for. The bigger the vision, the bigger the obstacles, and that's how you know you're on the right track. If your dream scares you, if it challenges you, if it forces you to confront obstacles daily, then you are in the arena where greatness is forged. When you push through obstacles, you also inspire others. People watch you struggle, they see the challenges you face, and when you refuse to quit, you give them courage. Your persistence becomes a message louder than words, that it is possible, that it can be done, that strength is a choice. Many times, you won't even realize how many lives you impact just by refusing to back down from your own obstacles. You become proof that resilience is real. Pushing through obstacles also builds trust in yourself. Every time you overcome a challenge, no matter how small, you add to your confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can endure, that you can solve problems. Confidence doesn't come from compliments or from achievements handed to you. It comes from facing hard things and surviving. Each obstacle you conquer becomes a stone in the foundation of unshakable self-belief. The next time life throws something at you, you can look back and say, I've been through worse, I can handle this too. The process of pushing through is never glamorous. It's ugly, it's messy, it's frustrating. It feels like moving 1 inch forward while being shoved 2 steps back. But that grind is where your character is built. The world celebrates the victories, but the victories are only possible because of the nights you kept going when nobody was watching, because of the days you worked with no reward in sight, because of the times you fell and got up again and again. That is the invisible work behind every visible success. Another truth about obstacles is that they often appear the strongest right before the breakthrough. Many people give up just 1 step before success because the obstacle feels unbearable at that moment. But if they had held on a little longer, if they had pushed just 1 more time, they would have seen the wall collapse. That is why persistence is everything. You never know how close you are, so you must keep going as if the finish line is right around the corner, because often it is. When you commit to pushing through, you stop being controlled by circumstances. You take control of your own response. You may not control the obstacle, but you control whether it stops you. You may not control the storm, but you control whether you keep walking through it. That control is the essence of strength. Obstacles lose their power the moment you realize they cannot force you to quit. They can only challenge you, but the choice to keep moving is always yours. Own your destiny with action means you stop leaving your life to chance. You stop hoping the universe will align for you, and you start moving with relentless intent. Destiny is not written by fate. It is written by what you do every single day. Too many people live as if they are passengers, waiting for someone else to steer, waiting for something magical to happen, waiting for circumstances to change. But action is the only force that creates change. Destiny belongs to the ones who are willing to move, to act, to step forward even when they are uncertain, even when they are afraid, even when nothing seems guaranteed. Owning your destiny begins with realizing that vision without action is just a dream. You can see yourself successful in your mind. You can imagine the wealth, the strength, the achievements, but if you do nothing, it fades into fantasy. Action is what transforms vision into reality. One step at a time, one decision at a time, one effort stacked on top of another. That is how you build the life you imagine. Action turns invisible thoughts into visible results. Every great achievement in history was not built on ideas alone. It was built on action, on execution, on persistence. When you own your destiny with action, you stop talking about what you're going to do and you start doing it. Words are cheap without action. Promises mean nothing if you don't follow through. People will say tomorrow, someday, soon, but those words are smoke that disappears. Action is the only proof of commitment. If you say you want to get stronger, you show it by training. If you say you want success, you show it by working when others are resting. If you say you want freedom, you show it by making sacrifices and building discipline. Your actions reveal the truth about you more than your words ever will. Action also destroys fear. Most fear is born in inaction, in sitting still, while your mind imagines the worst. Case scenario. Fear grows bigger the longer you wait. But the moment you move, the moment you take action, fear shrinks. It loses its power because action gives you evidence that you are capable. You stop overthinking, you stop doubting, because you are too busy doing. The people who wait until they feel ready never start, because readiness is a myth. The people who succeed act first, and through action they become ready. Owning your destiny with action requires consistency. One big action once in a while is not enough. Destiny is shaped by repetition, by habits, by the things you do day after day. Every small action compounds into something massive. Skipping one workout doesn't ruin you, but skipping over and over builds weakness. Writing one page may seem insignificant, but one page a day creates a book in a year. Saving a small amount of money seems small, but over time it builds wealth. The power of action is in the compound effect, the snowball that grows bigger the longer it rolls. Consistent action is what separates wishful thinkers from unstoppable achievers. Action also requires courage to step into the unknown. Many times you won't have all the answers, you won't know if the path will work, but you must act anyway. Waiting for certainty is another form of fear. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. You learn by doing, you discover the path by walking it. Every step forward reveals the next step. If you wait until you see the whole staircase, you'll stand still forever. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. That decision is what builds momentum, and momentum is what builds destiny. Owning your destiny also means taking responsibility for the outcome of your actions. If you act and fail, you don't blame the world, you don't hide behind excuses, you learn and adjust. Every failure becomes feedback, every mistake becomes a lesson, every setback becomes fuel for the next attempt. Action without responsibility is wasted effort, but action with ownership is transformation. You begin to realize that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. Every failure is a step closer. Every failure makes you sharper. Every failure prepares you for the breakthrough. When you live in action, you separate yourself from the majority of people who only talk, only dream, only plan. The world is full of people with good ideas, full of people with potential, but very few with the discipline to act day after day. That is why the few who act rise above the rest. They are not always the smartest, not always the most talented, but they are the ones who move, who execute, who refuse to sit still. Action beats talent when talent doesn't act. Action beats luck when luck doesn't show up. Action beats excuses every single time. Owning your destiny with action also forces you to evolve. The more you act, the more you learn, the more you grow. You discover strengths you never knew you had. You build skills you never imagined. You develop resilience you didn't think was possible. Action sharpens you like fire sharpens steel. Without it, you stay the same, repeating the same patterns, living the same year over and over again. With it, you transform into a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, more capable. Action also creates opportunity. Opportunities rarely come to those who wait. They come to those who move, who put themselves in the game, who knock on doors instead of hoping they will open by themselves. The more you act, the more doors you create. People notice you because you're in motion. You build momentum that attracts others. You stumble into chances that you would never have found by sitting still. Action puts you in the right place at the right time, not because of luck, but because you created enough movement to cross paths with opportunity. Owning your destiny through action also means accepting sacrifice. You cannot act in every direction. You must focus. Action requires energy, time, and discipline, which means you must give up comfort, entertainment, and distractions. Many people want the result, but not the sacrifice. They want the reward without the effort. But destiny only reveals itself to those willing to pay the price. Every action is an investment, and the returns only come when you are willing to pay upfront with sweat, time, and persistence. The truth is, action is the purest form of belief. If you believe in your dream, you act. If you don't act, it means you don't truly believe. Action proves your faith in yourself. It proves that you trust your vision enough to move toward it, even when you can't see the finish line. It proves that you are serious, that you are committed, that you are willing to endure the grind. Action is belief in motion, and belief without motion is nothing. Owning your destiny with action is not a one-time choice, it is a lifestyle. Every day you must wake up and choose action over excuses, movement over hesitation, progress over comfort. Destiny is built one decision at a time, one choice stacked on top of another, until you look back and realize you have created a life that once lived only in your imagination. When you choose action again and again, you write your own story instead of letting the world write it for you.